Philosophy in Pixels. I'm your host, Ronnie Bell, and this is a podcast where we think about big questions while old video games play in the background. So tonight, the screen will show something simple. Pixel dolphins swimming through an endless blue ocean. No enemies, no rush, no timer counting down. Just movement, just water. Honestly, if more video games were like this, I might actually finish them. But strangely, that little pixel ocean might be the perfect way to start talking about philosophy. Because thousands of years ago, a philosopher said something that still echoes today. His name was Heraclitus, and he said something simple, something mysterious, something beautiful. He said, everything flows. Heraclitus lived in ancient Greece about 2,500 years ago, and one of the ideas he's most famous for goes something like this. You cannot step into the same river twice, because by the time you step in it again, the water has already moved on. The river is still there, but it's also different. The water changed, you changed, everything changed, which honestly explains why you can go back to a restaurant you loved 10 years ago, and suddenly the fries are different. The restaurant's still there, but something has changed. Possibly the fries, possibly you, possibly both. For Heraclitus, reality was not made of stable things. Reality was made of change, of movement, of becoming. And if you think about it, that's kind of what a video game world is like. When you play an old Genesis game, the world feels solid. But underneath the surface, the screen is constantly refreshing, pixels appearing and disappearing, tiny moments updating again and again. The world isn't frozen, it's happening. Kind of like life. Except life usually has worse graphics and more emails. Enter Whitehead. Fast forward about 2,000 years and we meet another philosopher. His name was Alfred North Whitehead. Whitehead looked at the universe and thought something very similar to Heraclitus. Then he pushed the idea even further. He suggested that reality is not made of things, not atoms, not objects, not substances. Instead, reality is made of events, moments of experience, moments of becoming. Whitehead called them actual occasions, which sounds a little bit like the name of a fancy jazz band. But what he meant was this. Reality happens in tiny flashes of experience, moment by moment. Imagine a movie. When you watch a movie, it looks like continuous motion, but if you pause it, you see something different. Individual frames, still images, one after another. Whitehead thought reality might work a little like that, except instead of frames, the universe is made of moments of experience. Each moment becoming, then giving way to the next. Kind of like when you binge watch a show and then suddenly realize it's 2:30 in the morning. One episode became another episode and suddenly you're questioning all of your life choices. Moments becoming moments. And this is where retro games become a strangely good metaphor because those beautiful Genesis worlds, Green Hill Zone and alien planets and underwater caves, they're not really solid places. They're made of pixels, tiny little squares of light, thousands of them, and together they create a world. But zoom in far enough and you see something surprising. The world is made of little pieces, little flashes, little moments, which honestly makes reality feel a bit like a cosmic video game engine, except no one's found the settings menu yet. So Whitehead loved music as a metaphor. Think about a melody. When you hear a song, it feels like a single flowing thing, but it's actually made of individual notes. One note, and then the next, and then the next. Each moment disappears, and yet somehow the song continues. Reality might be like that, a melody played across time, and every moment is another note. Sometimes a beautiful note, sometimes a weird experimental jazz note, but still part of the song. Now here's the really beautiful part. For Whitehead, humans are not outside this process. We are part of it. We are moments of becoming too. The universe is not something that's already finished. It's something that's still unfolding, still deciding, still becoming. And every choice we make adds something to the future, which is both inspiring and a little scary because apparently the universe trusted us with part of the story. No pressure. Heraclitus said everything flows. Whitehead said everything becomes. Different centuries, different languages, but maybe they were both pointing to the same mystery. Reality's not frozen. Reality is alive. And interestingly enough, this idea even echoes in spiritual traditions. Jesus often spoke of the kingdom of God not as a fixed place, but as something growing, like a seed, like yeast in bread, something alive, something unfolding, something becoming, not finished, still happening, which means the story of the world is not over, even if the news makes it sometimes feel like it is. So, right now, wherever you are listening, this moment is one of those little pixels. It's one of those flashes of becoming, a moment in the long unfolding story of the universe. And maybe that's what makes life sacred. The future is not fully written. The story is still being composed, the music is still playing. And so, friends, the next time you see a pixel world, or watch the ocean move, or hear a song unfolding, maybe remember the old words of Heraclitus: everything flows. And maybe remember Whitehead's insight too. Reality is not a thing, it's a process, a becoming, a story being written. So, friends, thank you for listening to Philosophy in Pixels, where we explore big ideas one pixel at a time. And remember, if reality is really like a video game, we're all still in the middle of the level. So keep thinking, and don't forget to save your progress.